Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Qrvey webinar. Today, we're going to be talking about a 2025 outlook at the top 10 analytics trends that SaaS PMs need to know. Today's agenda, we'll do a quick intro to multi-tenant analytics and Qrvey. And before we get into all of the trends that we're going to cover today, we'll quickly talk about some of the unique challenges that are facing SaaS companies. And today we have David Abramson, Chief Technology Officer at Qrvey, leading the presentation. He is the CTO. He's got over 20 years experience in analytics. And at Qrvey, his role, he drives the company technology direction. He's focused on helping software providers expand their products, create value from all of their data with embedded analytics, automation, and self-service data collection. So I will pass it off to David. Take it away.
All right, perfect. Thanks. And thanks everybody for joining us on today's webinar. I'm going to kick things off just by doing a brief introduction into who Qrvey is, and then we'll dive into the meat of the rest of the presentation. But at a high level, we really are a purpose-built solution, analytics solution for software products and software teams. And what that means is we're helping software companies, SaaS companies, deliver highly scalable and highly secure multi-tenant analytics for their customers as part of their software offerings. And so that's really why we exist, what we're doing, and the problems that we solve. And the reason why that's so valuable is the cost savings and the faster time to market. We work with a lot of SaaS companies who need to deliver rich analytic capabilities quickly, and they want to do that at obviously the lowest cost to them possible. And with solutions like Qrvey, we can help achieve those goals by delivering a rich set of analytical capabilities without all the time and without the huge expense. And this is actually a pretty good contrast of what it looks like to deliver an analytics layer through Qrvey, where we provide all of the tools, the APIs, the embeddable widgets, the data lake, the semantic layer, all of the custom connectors and transformations. Whereas if you had to build this yourself, obviously there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of other tools and different tools that you're going to have to leverage to be able to deliver that capability, which can not only add to the overall expense, but also add to the time and maintenance effort it takes to deliver a successful and robust and scalable analytics solution as part of your software offering to your external customers. And why is that important? There's obviously a lot of challenges that SaaS companies face when it comes to delivering successful analytics, and not the least of which just the overall complexity of how to organize and manage all of the data. But there are different challenges than if you were to say build an analytics solution just for your internal or enterprise needs, right? SaaS companies trying to achieve successful external facing analytics have to look at it from a different lens than if you were building it for your internal business needs. It has to scale differently. Obviously, you're now dealing with more customers, more users, larger data volumes. The security is different because you're not thinking about it from kind of your own single tenant, your own company's business case, but more granular multi-tenant control, user control has to be there for your end customers, has to be wrapped into the data and all of those tenant and user specific requirements for security purposes. And then the overall complexity of data, things like how do you mix and blend multiple different source types? Maybe customers are bringing some of their own data, or how do you augment that with transformations through things like AI and machine learning? And so there are a lot of different challenges and different pains. And it's not just that sort of internal cost center that an enterprise analytics tool is realized as. It's not single tenant, it's multi-tenant. And the opportunities it presents offer you the ability to even create a revenue center for your analytics outcomes for your end customers. So managed by your product teams, it's for your external customers and your end users. And it allows you to even define, new revenue opportunities to bring successful outcomes for your analytics experience. And of course, a lot of you hopefully understand why you would want to invest in an analytics outcome for your products. Just mentioned the revenue streams opportunity. to be able to build new, maybe premium feature sets or add-ons, or even deliver custom professional services around analytics outcomes, but also things like, how do you differentiate against your competitors? How do you deliver this capability faster and maintain all of those security and scalability and all the other challenges around data that we just sort of talked about? And so there's a lot of great reasons why you would want to spend the time and energy to invest and even monetize the analytics capabilities inside of your product. Not the least of which is that differentiation angle. And we're going to talk about actually quite a lot of these differentiation points when we talk about the key trends, because these really align with a lot of the trends in the industry, whether it's delivering more self-service capabilities to your customers, doing more with tools like automation, logic, and capabilities, modernizing applications, or even bringing data in different ways through data as a service or data collection mechanisms. So all of these are ways not only that you can differentiate your product, but also a lot of the trends that we're going to be talking about when it comes to what's happening within the analytics space moving into this year and beyond. Last point I'll make is this is an initiative where it doesn't have to take a lot of time. And that's, again, one of the key values that companies like Qrvey bring, the ability to get to market very quickly as part of, again, product enhancements, product enrichments, or part of your overall product roadmap strategy. It can be as quick as a couple of weeks to build that proof of concept that allows you to get in front of customers and showcase, what are some of the opportunities and potential, and then even maybe just a few more weeks to launch that initial MVP and roll out these rich analytical outputs to your end customers as part of your production launch within your applications. And then all of the opportunities to expand, come with that. So when you think about how you're going to plan and how you're going to make this work in your product roadmaps and timelines, this shouldn't be kind of a daunting task in terms of the overall timeline picture, as long as you're working with the right tools and the right capabilities to move forward. All right, so now that we have the introduction out of the way, let's talk about where we see the analytics trends moving into next year and into the future for SaaS products and SaaS teams. And so we're going to focus on 10 key trends that we think are really important to the overall analytics space. So the first trend we're going to talk about is AI. Obviously, AI is a pretty hot topic across the board, but particularly Gen AI. And what we know is that AI adoption is growing very, very rapidly. Studies are showing that the usage between 2023 and 2024 is basically doubled. So more and more people are using Gen AI. And what they're using it for is actually quite interesting, because majority of folks are using it to not only create content, but also to do data and analytics and analyses. So customers or users or just consumers in general are more and more used to working with Gen AI tools, not only to create their content, but to analyze their data. So as a SaaS business, you really have to think about how that's going to impact you. How are you going to include Gen AI related features as part of your product? And how are you going to make it easy for your customers to integrate or work with these types of tools as part of your overall application experience that you're going to deliver to them inside of your software applications? So what we recommend is thinking about how you're going to incorporate your Gen AI analytics features into your product roadmap. And with what we're seeing as far as kind of the main areas of leverage for Gen AI, it can help in kind of three main areas. One, you can think about how it's going to impact your developers. So Gen AI tools to help them create content as kind of an overall productivity booster. I'm sure a lot of your engineering and dev teams are already using tools to help them write code. Well, same is true for analytics. And with tools like Qrvey, we can help provide enhanced and enriched capabilities to provide that productivity for the development teams. For power users, maybe some of those more advanced end customers, along the lines of how they want to do data exploration or derive AI-powered insights, providing integrated tools and widgets to allow them to discover new insights through Gen AI. And then even for more basic end users, giving them chat-like interfaces, AI-powered interfaces, suggestions and recommendations as part of those interfaces that are all powered through Gen AI integration. So all of that can be included as part of the overall sort of analytics experience inside of your software product. So we see that as kind of obviously a very, very heavily discussed trend, but something that in an analytics space you can really start taking advantage of today as part of your products. Trend number two is really focused on the automation use case. Automation can really drive a lot of what's happening in the analytics capabilities of your product, and it can really be part of a very successful analytical implementation. And what we've seen is the trend moving towards more and more automation in general. It's becoming a very mature set of functionalities across pretty much every organization. And if you're building applications that focus on any of these areas like finance, accounting, IT, or operations, they're already heavily using automation within their organizations. So having that as part of your application would obviously be a very important, critical set of features that you could offer to your customers alongside whatever analytical outputs and capabilities you're delivering to them inside of the SaaS product. So obviously what we're recommending here is that automation use cases should absolutely be part of any customer-facing analytics strategy that you're going to develop. And these can be add-on tools. These can be additional packages, again, opportunities for new revenue streams. But some of the use cases I think that we've seen some great success with among our customers is not just things like scheduling of reports or emailing of content, but also being able to allow for things like data-driven alerts and notifications, maybe even some automation that drives data write-backs or updates into the source data systems, and then even integrations. So external integrations, maybe automations that drive actions in third-party tools or external systems and services. And so all of that can lead to a very successful overall automation strategy that's part of your analytical outcome in your SaaS products for your customers. Let's talk about trend three, which is really about different types of data. So how do you connect all of that disconnected data, semi-structured, unstructured data? And obviously the trend here is unstructured data is really just blowing up. Reports are showing it accounts for nearly 90% of all of the generated data that's out there. And probably don't have to tell folks on the webinar today that the amount of data is just growing exponentially, predicted to be nearly 400 zettabytes of data by 2028. So there's going to be more and more data that we have to contend with. And most of that data is going to be either semi-structured or unstructured data that if you don't have a good strategy for figuring out how to work with that, obviously there's going to be a lot of missing data from the possibilities within your analytics in your applications. So with that, one of the things that we really recommend is figuring out the right way to support multiple data source types across different structures and models. So how do you blend together that semi or unstructured data into your SaaS product analytics for your customers? Look for tools that allow you to blend that data with joins and unions. Custom transformations can help you handle those more complex data types. So the semi-structured objects and arrays and hierarchical structures of the data, leveraging tools like the AI and machine learning to transform unstructured data, whether that's text analytics, sentiment analysis, keyword analysis, all of these different options for taking unstructured data and making it easily analyzable inside of your application systems is going to be incredibly important for taking advantage of all of this data. And then there's lots of other opportunities. So how do you handle, custom data pivoting? How do you handle in a lot of SaaS companies, custom generated fields automatically? And again, tools like Qrvey can help solve for those types of problems and challenges. So bringing together all of that disconnected data to make it usable for your end customers. Trend number 4, we're going to talk about self-service. As I mentioned earlier, one of the key differentiated use cases is the ability to provide more of a robust, full self-service experience for all of the users of your application. And as you can see, most users, in fact, 88% of pretty much all customers expect that there is some form of self-service within any application that they're working with. And most customers, in fact, want the ability to independently solve their own problems. So the more you can do to provide rich set of self-service capabilities, particularly around the analyses and the data that they're going to work with, obviously goes a long way in satisfying the demands and needs of most end users in these application scenarios. A complete self-service solution really helps you get there. A lot of what we see with our analytic outcomes is, instead of just giving customers pre-built set of content, reports, dashboards, and the like, give them the ability to essentially solve their own problems, create dashboards from scratch, either from a completely blank canvas or from maybe a set of baseline templates that they can use to deliver successful analytical outputs. Let them create their own charts or metrics using a drag and drop no code builder. Let them create their own custom filters, actions, workflows, drill downs, all of those interactivities, right? Let them solve for their own problems within the solution, which gives you the ability to not only create new value, but also potentially, if you're thinking about it from sort of the revenue generation perspective, all of these tools offer opportunities to create more value for advanced users, power users, and really any users that are looking for a more robust set of self-service tools within your software applications. So not only meet the demand, but also opportunities that exist within offering robust self-service for everybody. All right, let's talk about trend number 5, which is thinking more along the lines of the underlying architecture and how it's shifting. What we're seeing in the market is obviously a big shift from a single sort of cloud deployment to multi-cloud deployments, and even many more hybrid and private cloud deployment models. 80% of companies, in fact, are incorporating multiple public clouds when it comes to their software solutions. And the majority are also using more than one, even hybrid and private cloud. And so what does that mean for your analytics solution? Well, I think the key there is it just has to match to your software requirements. So when you're looking at analytic tools, does it match to your SaaS software development lifecycle? Can it deploy where you need it to deploy? Can it support your dev, staging, production use cases? Does it provide the tools to help you navigate all of those different environments, publishing, version management, administration? And so architecture is something that should absolutely not be overlooked. And when you're thinking about how you're going to meet the needs of your changing software architectures, look for tools and analytics architectures that match to what you're trying to accomplish with your SaaS environments and your software development life cycles as well. Trend 6 is kind of similar, except now we're talking about, instead of just sort of single region, single zone, what about global expansion, internationalization, and global reach of SaaS applications? More and more, we're seeing SaaS applications that we're working with have the need to serve customers across multiple geographies all over the globe, which is in fact 85% of all business applications in 2025 going to be SaaS-based, operating in 100 different countries. And obviously, the global SaaS market is not slowing down at all. And so global expansion, if it's not already part of your roadmap or your expectations and plan, it's something that obviously you can start thinking about. And again, just like with architectures, understanding the tools that you work with should allow you to easily control and map to whatever internationalization and other outputs that you need to support users anywhere they are. It should be controllable for the UI UX, should be controllable for the data and the content. So everything from headers, labels, object names, data points, all of that should be controllable from the language and formatting, and also how that's determined. So is it something that the user determines for themselves? Is it something that's automatic? Is it something that's individualized per report or per dashboard? Thinking about these things is really important as you look at how you can expand your reach globally, particularly when it comes to the analytical outputs within your software applications and SaaS environments. So great trend to keep an eye on, and how you're going to expand to match to the global needs of your software. Trend number 7 we'll talk about is really all about specialization. Again, I think this trend is more about what the expectations of workers are. As applications get more and more specialized and sophisticated, the actual end users and workers within those applications are learning those new skills and technologies. And a lot of that's in the realm of data and analysis. So 58% of essentially new job creation is related to analysis and data analysis within those organizations. So this is absolutely going to translate to more requirements and more requests for capabilities within your SaaS software, within your applications. So thinking about how you're going to meet the needs of more specialized users, more sophisticated users, and more capable users is really important. And I think this is absolutely an extension of the self-service points that we were making earlier, and the ability to offer different levels of capabilities to match the right skill sets of your customers, whether that's a full self-service role or capability, so an author who can create basically any analytic content and share that, or maybe that's another layer of enhanced filtering or drill down in customization and personalization that gets created, or maybe that's just a way to offer more data access, data as a service via exports, extending data so it integrates better with third-party tools, or even thinking about how that wraps into the automation and alerting capabilities of your SaaS product. The key here is that specialization. So how are you going to map your product tiers to meet the needs of the end customers who have these more specialized needs with different roles within their organizations who are using your software? And there's a lot of opportunities in analytics to kind of match to those different roles and requirements effectively. Trend number 8, let's talk a little bit about ROI. And the interesting thing is, not a lot of companies are really focused on ROI as part of their overall software strategy. Only 46% of companies today are actually calculating the ROI of their IT investments after they complete those projects. And I think the trend that we're seeing is this number is going to be going up a lot. Software development teams needing to show value and needing to show that what they're building, what they're working on does have meaningful ROI for the business. And so being able to track and map sort of the ROI of everything is going to become increasingly important, particularly for any new initiatives that you choose to start around data or around analytics within your software solutions. So essentially what we recommend here is just think about all of the new ROI opportunities that an analytics platform or analytics layer can afford and create for you as part of your overall software strategy. We've talked about, the ability to offer different modules and add-ons. That's just one way you can consider ROI when it comes to analytics. So new features equal new add-on modules equal new revenue opportunities. But what about just things like data expansion? We had the trend where we're looking at this huge explosion of data and now unstructured, semi-structured data. That becomes a great ROI revenue generating opportunity to expand on data size or data scale, and use that to generate meaningful new revenue streams as well. The other opportunity is thinking about kind of that consolidation side of the analytics experience. We saw that chart earlier, the diagram earlier, where kind of with Qrvey, where everything's all in one versus all of these external tools and services that you'd have to sort of spend time on, learn, become experts in, and also pay for. So being able to consolidate all of that is not the revenue generating opportunity, but the cost reduction opportunity for, again, generating meaningful ROI within your SaaS business and within your analytics outcomes within that SaaS development experience. And then, of course, all of those different use cases, whether it's self-service, automation, data collection, data as a service, those all present opportunities for new revenue streams, new ROI within your application. So think about how that might translate to a successful revenue generating within your analytics outputs. All right, trend number 9, consolidation. Consolidation is really a big trend in the industry. In fact, the average number of SaaS products that companies are using is going down, but they're using those products more and more. And so a lot of companies or a lot of products are coming together. And if you're part of a business, or maybe even in your SaaS company, you've acquired products or you've started bringing together data from other products into your product as well. These are great opportunities to now deliver analytical and data analytics on top of those sort of multiple different products that you're working with. And so think about analytics strategy that gives you opportunities to consolidate across multiple different products, bring data together, blend it, join it, combine it from multiple applications and sources. And now your product teams can look at analytics as kind of the bridge between multiple applications. So if you've recently acquired applications, or your customers are just expecting that more of their application data is combined and available in a single place, there's a lot of great opportunities to kind of bring that data together and use the analytics layer as the way to consolidate across those different data sources and services or applications directly. So new opportunity exists as part of this kind of overall consolidation trend to blend things together. And our last trend, I don't think anybody's any stranger to security needs and things like data privacy, but that's absolutely something that we see as kind of non-negotiable. Obviously, most businesses agree, as 94%, have to absolutely make sure that customers' data is protected, and not just protected, but absolutely only exposed to the folks and the users and the roles of users who need to see the data that they have access to. So it's not just about protecting tenant data, but even within tenants, making sure that the users are only seeing the data that they would have access to or are supposed to have access to. And that's something that absolutely has to be part of your analytics solution, and whatever tools that you use have to support the right options for data management and data security. And that includes everything from encryption for data in transit and at rest. That includes opportunities for record level, column level, object level security options. That includes making sure that your data isn't going somewhere external. And if you're using a self-hosted solution, making sure that you have control over your customers' data. And then, of course, when we talk about multi-tenant logic, it has to cover all of those security scenarios, including not forcing you to duplicate user information, role information, and all of that type of logic, so that it can all be managed and secured in the best fashion for your overall data privacy and security strategy within your business. All right, so those are our trends, and thanks for taking the time to join us on our webinar talking about those top 10 trends. I think, again, a lot of those trends are really about how can you create the right types of value for your customers within the analytics modules or layers that you offer within your product suites or your SaaS solutions. And so one of the things that we'd love to work with you on at Qrvey is a free analytics assessment. You can book a demo with us, and we can review maybe what your current state of analytics looks like today and provide the right types of recommendations to move forward. We can also help you with that roadmap side of things. So we talked about all of these new opportunities, whether it's self-service, automation, consolidation, security. All of these things can be part of the next set of roadmap features that you choose to launch. And we do have our free roadmap guide for analytics, how to roll it out, how to plan for the right features, the right timelines, and how to build that consensus internally to deliver the best possible outcomes for your customers. So visit us at the URL and book that assessment, and hopefully we'll be in touch. But thanks everybody for your participation today, and we hope to see you on the next one. Take care.